Let's talk about FinTech. In this world, trust isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. It's the absolute foundation your entire business is built on. So today, we're going to lay out a blueprint for how to build that foundation the right way, by architecting systems that are ready for a SOC 2 audit from day one.
And really, this says it all, doesn't it? You wouldn't build a company without servers or code, and you can't build a FinTech without trust. It's not some fuzzy marketing term. It's a core piece of your operational infrastructure. Your customers, your partners, your investors, they're all betting on it. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with why this is so critical. Then we'll break down what the SOC 2 framework actually is. From there, we'll get our hands dirty building a secure system, talk about how to keep it that way, and finally wrap it all up with the big picture. All right, first up, let's get this straight. We are not talking about a badge you can just slap on your website. SOC 2 is a fundamental business requirement. It's what allows you to play in the big leagues. Think of it like this. SOC 2 is the key to the kingdom. You want to partner with big banks? You want to land those huge enterprise clients? You want to bring in serious investors? Well, this is the first thing they're going to ask for. It's become the universal language for, we take security seriously.
And what happens if you don't have it? Well, it's not pretty. You're basically putting up a giant close for business sign to your biggest potential customers. Deals drag on forever, or they just die on the vine. The cost of not being ready is absolutely massive.
Okay, so we've got the why down. It's crucial. Now let's dig into the what. What exactly are auditors looking for when they talk about SOC 2? These are the rules of our blueprint.
So SOC 2 revolves around these 5 big ideas. They call them the trust service criteria. Security, that one's mandatory, no way around it. For pretty much any FinTech. Availability, making sure your system is actually up and running. And confidentiality, keeping secret are also must-haves. The other 2 might apply to you, but honestly, for most folks, it all comes down to those first 3.
Now, here's something a lot of people get wrong. SOC 2 is not a shopping list of tools you have to buy. It's about principles. An auditor doesn't care if you use brand X or brand Y. They care about whether your system as a whole actually works to protect customer data. That gives you flexibility, but it also means the buck stops with you to prove it. All right, time to put on our hard hats. Let's get into the actual construction of a secure, compliant system. We're going to frame this around 4 essential technical pillars. These are the big 4. You need a solid architecture to build on. You need to control who gets in the door. You need to be able to see everything that's happening. And of course, you have to protect the data itself. Get these 4 right, and you're well on your way.
Pillar 1 is your foundation, secure architecture. And this is not something you can just bolt on later. It has to be designed in from the very beginning. We're talking about things like locking down your cloud environment and, critically, building a massive, unbreakable wall between your live production systems and anywhere else, like development.
And underpinning this entire pillar is one simple, beautiful, and incredibly powerful idea, the principle of least privilege. It's so straightforward. If a person or a piece of software doesn't absolutely need access to something to do its job, then it doesn't get it. Period. Following this one rule can wipe out a huge range of potential security problems.
Okay, Pillar 2, identity and access management. This is all about being the bouncer at the door. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is just table stakes these days. But it goes deeper. You have to be constantly reviewing who has access to what, and you need a rock-solid, lightning-fast process for kicking people out the second they change roles or leave the company. Next up, Pillar 3. You can't protect what you can't see, which is where logging and monitoring come in. You need to log everything. Every login, every data access, every single change. And those logs have to be protected so nobody can mess with them. Then you need systems watching those logs in real time, looking for anything that seems off. And our final technical pillar, data protection. This one's a biggie. All your sensitive data needs to be encrypted, not just when it's sitting in a database that's at rest, but also when it's flying across the internet that's in transit. And just as important are the keys to that encryption and having secure backups that you actually test. So, you've built these 4 amazing, strong technical pillars. Fantastic. But even the strongest pillars will fall over in an earthquake if there's nothing holding them together. That something is operational discipline. It's the mortar for our building. And a huge piece of this is change management. This means any change to your system, I don't care if it's one line of code or a whole new server, has to follow a strict process.
It gets reviewed, it gets approved, and it gets deployed carefully. No more cowboy coding. This is how you stop one tiny mistake from taking down your entire platform. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? On one side, you have documented workflows. That gives you consistency, traceability, you always know what happened and why. On the other side, chaos. You've got gaps for auditors and massive security risks just waiting to happen. The choice is pretty obvious. Okay, so your own house is locked down tight. You've got all the pillars, you've got the mortar. Awesome. But what about all the other companies you've given a key to? Your security is only ever as strong as your weakest link.
Let me be super clear about this. If one of your vendors gets breached, that is your problem. You are responsible for the data they handle for you. That means you absolutely have to vet their security, document everything, and get legal protections in your contracts. It's not optional. It's a core part of being compliant yourself.
All right, let's bring this all home. It is so easy to look at SOC 2 as just a project, a finish line you cross, and then you're done. But that is completely the wrong way to think about it.
Because as we've seen, this is about so much more than your tech. The auditors are going to be digging through everything. They want to see your written security policies. They want to see your plan for what to do when something inevitably goes wrong. They want to see proof that you're actually training your people on all of this stuff. It's about your company's entire culture.
So if you remember one thing, make it this. SOC 2 is not a milestone you hit, it's a commitment you make. It's a continuous process, and the payoff is huge. It tells the whole world that you're a mature, serious, reliable company, and that makes everything, fundraising, sales, partnerships, so much easier.
And that really brings us to the final question you need to ask yourself. Looking at this blueprint, thinking about your own company, can you honestly say that your FinTech is built on a real, solid, provable foundation of trust? Thanks for joining me.